We'll investigate the planets today in our solar system. I appreciate you watching. Welcome to Z, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll begin with the planet nearest the Sun. The element Mercury is a rocky or terrestrial planet that lies approximately 58 million kilometers in orbit from the Sun, or 36 million miles. It is the solar system's smallest planet, having a diameter system only 4,879 kilometers long. Those are 3,031 miles. It is just somewhat bigger than the two moon Earths, and it look quite similar despite the small size of Mercury. It is the second densest planet through the solar system. Mercury completes one orbit of the Sun in just 88 days. The Sun, however, a full day cycle only lasts about 58 days. The temperatures on the planet Earth here, our surface, can range from an incredible 430 degrees Celsius, that is a daytime temperature of 800 degrees Fahrenheit. However, given the inadequate environment, if the temperatures can hold on to that heat, decrease to minus 180 degrees Celsius, about 290 degrees Fahrenheit below that. In the night, Mercury has a gravity of around 38 because of the Earth's gravity. So if your Earth's weight was 220 pounds, on average, you would only weigh 84 pounds. Mercury is evidenced by its craters. Mercury has suffered abuse via a variety of effects over time. Venus is located past Mercury. Venus is also an Iraqi-type terrestrial planet, and it orbits 107 million times kilometers, about 67 million miles away from the Sun. It is 12,001 diameter, 103 kilometers, 7,500, or 20 kilometers. Venus isn't the closest planet, but planet in solar orbit, it is unquestionably the hottest surface. Temps which are around 465 degrees Celsius or 900 Fahrenheit degrees. It causes these temperatures dense carbon dioxide atmosphere with sulfuric acid clouds. Venus has a heavy covering of clouds that would block the Sun to create the surface. The surface seems orange and also encircled by, together with countless of volcanoes, hills, and valleys. Venus has a peak there named Montes Maxwell that is comparable to Mount Size Everest. On this planet, Venus completes its orbit of the 225 days of Sun, and because of its sluggish rotation, just on Venus one day, roughly 243 days on this planet, which strangely is greater than a year on Venus. Venus has a gravity of roughly 90. Gravitation on Earth, therefore, a person who was 220 pounds on Earth would be approximately on Venus 198 pounds. Interestingly, it is believed that Venus once had a vastly different composition, possibly even covered in vast expanses of flowing water. However, there was a runaway greenhouse effect, significantly altering the external circumstances. We are reminded that we are on Earth by it. What might happen if this occurs? A world we are all on is the next. Familiar with our planet as a home Earth, the Earth is another terrestrial planet. It makes an enjoyable circle around the Sun, 149,600,000 kilometers, 93.9 million miles, etc. Our separation from the Sun is considerable, a factor contributing to the enormous diversity of the life we want everything on Earth to prosper, including us. Atmosphere. The planet with the largest density is the Earth, the system of the Sun, and it weighs 12,742 kilometers across 7,900, or the temperatures can reach 17 miles, vary according to the season and your whereabouts on a planet. Ever recorded highest air temperature. The Earth's temperature was 56.7 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit 134.1. This temperature was, in a way, recorded in a furnace in the Death Valley Desert. River Ranch, California, is a state in the USA. It was this temperature in July of that year, 1913. The coldest climate ever measured on Earth was negative minus 129 degrees or 89 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit, which a Soviet weather station recorded. Antarctic station back in July 1983. The Earth completes its orbit of the Sun once every 365 days. The Sun and its days are just 24 hours long. The surface is incredibly diverse. with extensive frozen sections, melting pieces, lush vegetation, music, wide-ranging wetlands, music, places that are extremely dry, all of which make up our single, permanent home. Music, I only hope that as a species, we can better adapt and comprehend more ways to protect and utilize the land in a manner that will support life instead of destroying the world as we know it and exhausting it. The planet usually referred to as comes next. The planet Mars, a terrestrial planet, is Mars that, on average, orbits the Sun 228 million kilometers in length. After 142 million miles, it reaches a circling the Sun in 687 Earth days. On Mars, a day lasts for 24.6 hours. Remarkably similar to the Earth's, the size of Mars, 6,779 kilometers, or 4,212 miles, which makes it around half the size of the planet. The Martian surface is chilly and arid, using in 60 degrees below normal on average Celsius to minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit, despite the temperature varies significantly based on location, the season, and temperatures have amounted to 20 degrees Celsius, or around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Equator Mars has a far lower gravity than that which is earthly. If you weighed 62% less than Earth weight, 220 pounds on Mars, you would only weigh 83 pounds. The planet Mars is quite interesting. Similar in many ways to the Earth. Think there will ever be a colony of humans? The Mars planet. Share your opinions with me. And the fifth planet from the Sun comments is also the biggest and strongest. Planet Jupiter is a 139-kilometer diameter gas giant. 86 miles, or 820 kilometers, 880 miles, or around 11 times, larger. Jupiter orbits the Earth at a faster rate, typical distance of 484 million miles, or 778 million kilometers miles from the Sun, and solely revolves around the Sun. 12 years every time. However, a day on Jupiter is only 24 hours long. 10 hours. A gas giant on the planet Jupiter lacks a solid surface, but there is a liquid with an ocean spinning within it, the metal hydrogen. Moreover, it is hidden among the clouds. Metallic ocean is made possible by the atmosphere's force, which preserves the hydrogen's liquid state. The temperature of the clouds interior Jupiter is approximately minus 145 degrees Celsius, minus 234 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet as you venture, temperatures could be impacted closer to the center. 43,000 degrees, or 000 degrees Celsius Fahrenheit, in comparison to the surface of the Sun. If someone who weighed 100 pounds could be perched on those clouds, that Jupiter, they would experience weight of 240. Having a gravity, pounds 2.4 times more powerful than the Earth. But if you were to plunge into the clouds of Jupiter, you'd be vaporized and crushed. The tremendous pressure. Jupiter's core region is a tremendously windy place and a stormy area. The Great Storm is the most well-known storm. Red Spot, a storm that resembles a hurricane. It is at least twice as big as the all of Earth. Hundreds of years have passed since it began. Years. Music. That storm's maximum sustained winds are 423 miles per hour, 270 miles per hour. Jupiter is a vast and dangerous region. For us people, yet even so, it's rather beautiful. Next up could perhaps be one of the most lovely throughout the solar system, planets, because of its powerful ringing. Planet Saturn is a gas giant planet that measures in at about 116.72 or 460 kilometers. It travels 364 miles around the Sun. At a separation of 1.4 billion miles, Saturn must travel 886 million kilometers. The Sun's orbit takes around 29 years. However, a day just has a little over 11 hours. This planet Saturn is covered in 3 layers of clouds. The circumstances, they evolve as you pass through them. Ammonia makes up the higher layers. Temperatures that vary between ice and between minus 173 and minus 113 degrees Celsius range between minus 280 and minus 270 degrees Fahrenheit. The following stratum has frozen water in it. At different temperatures between -88.3 degrees Celsius below zero from -127 to -26 degrees Fahrenheit, the lowest layer's temperatures can 57 degrees Celsius, or 134 Fahrenheit degrees. Only 1.8 times as much gravity exists on Saturn. Stronger than the Earth, which means if you on Earth, 100 pounds. On Saturn, you would be 108 pounds. The atmosphere primarily consists of helium and hydrogen, although a strong core might also exist. Somewhere in the powerful planet's interior, Saturn is a magnificent planet, one that is breathtaking to witness using a simple telescope. I would strongly suggest it if you ever get the opportunity. Uranus is the next planet. An ice giant named Uranus circles the Sun at 2.91 trillion kilometers, 1.8 billion kilometers away from the Sun. It is 5,724 kilometers in diameter, or 3,518 kilometers. 84 years are needed for this ice behemoth to around the Sun, and here a day is 17 hours long. The planet, despite the extremely cold weather, the most of its mass originates from an icy, heated, thick fluid. Substances like water, methane, and ammonia are gases, so you sink when attempting to land on something. The typical temperature around -213 degrees Celsius, about -353 degrees Fahrenheit, though as you get closer to the rocky core of this planet, the possibility of 4,727 8,540 degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius. Uranus has a gravity of roughly 86. As a result of the Earth's gravity, 100 pounds or less on Earth would be 86 pounds on Uranus. The atmosphere primarily consists of helium and hydrogen, with a tiny amount that methane, using minute amounts of ammonia and water. At the existence the planet's primary fuel, methane, blue hue. Finally, we reach the farthest verified planet, the Sun, to Neptune. Neptune is an ice giant as well. Around the Sun at a distance of 4.5 billion miles kilometers, that's 2.8 billion miles, it takes an incredible 165 years on Earth for it to finish one circle around a day, with the Sun only 16 hours on Earth. Neptune is also in the solar system that is the coldest, with potential temperature ranges of between -218 and -200 degrees Celsius, range between -360 and -328 degrees Fahrenheit. Neptune and its near twin are quite similar. Planet Uranus, with a heated surface formed of ice water, the fluid is thick, with an atmosphere, methane and nitrate made primarily of hydrogen and helium. Neptune has a methane and a diameter 49,244 kilometers long, 30,598 miles, and Neptune's surface gravity is similar to the Earth's relative size, 1.14 times more potent. Consequently, if you were 100 pounds on Earth. If you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe.